Oh yeah, you cool cat and kittens. Welcome back everybody to a very special podcast. This is the podcast which talk about your favorite TV series from yesteryear. Oh yeah, baby. And then, are you ready? And then we discuss it over assorted beverages. whatever you fancy at this time. And I'm your host, PMD, Patrick M. Dunn. And I'm joined here, as always, by my right hand, whoa man, Kat Halstead, the student. Oh yeah, welcome back, Catter. How are you?
I'm just peachy keen like a jelly bean. Okay, I am obviously losing my mind in quarantine.
Yeah, I know. We all are. I actually went to work yesterday for the first time in 10 days, and it felt weird to be out of the house and not at a grocery store for once, and actually have to talk to people and not just say how much is that going to be, sir? Or here's my debit card.
Oh my goodness.
Ugh. What a time. What a time to be still alive at the moment. All right. Welcome to our podcast. As I said, this is the podcast to talk about our favorite TV series from yesteryear. Sometimes we do American shows, and sometimes we like to cross the pond, as they say.
Yes, we're going to cross the pond.
Again.
Yes, this is the second time we're crossing the pond. I'm sorry, Heather, don't get your hopes up. It is not Doctor Who.
No. This is our third time, girl. We did Hello, and we did Fawlty Towers.
Oh my god, I forgot all about Fawlty Towers.
Shout out to John Cleese and friends, I guess. I had originally watched this on Amazon, but this first season dropped off Amazon for some reason, but all the other seasons are available. So I actually signed up for the free trial of BritBox. Shout out to BritBox, the hot app.
Oh my god.
Have you got that ad, on all your web searches?
Oh, I get it on Facebook all the time. I think I actually, reposted one because it's just a bunch of funny, are you being served jokes.
I've been eyeballing it for, a few months, and then, I don't know, I got a 7-day free trial. I'm just going to try to, indulge in as much keeping up appearances and Are You Being Served and Are You Being Served Again and the 2016 Are You Being Served there apparently is also. I just discovered last night.
It's a one-off special where they redid the pilot or something.
But it's not the same actors because they're all dead, right? We just discovered this.
There's one actor. One actor of Are You Being Served is still alive, and it's the guy who played Mr. Spooner.
Whoa, really?
In the later series, yeah. Everybody else is dead. They're all dead. All dead.
Did they die young tragically, one day? What happened?
No, they lived quite a while. They died in, the late 2000s for the most part.
So, they're not these young whippersnappers like they were in this 1977-ish episode of Are You Being Served? Because we never said the name of that show.
Yeah.
We're really bad at that. We need to get better at.
And actually this would be 1973.
Oh, it's that old?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize it was that old. So Mr. Lucas is probably 20 in 1973 or early 20s, but he's 102 in I don't know the mid 2000s because it's 2020 now. This is 50 years ago almost.
Oh my god, isn't that crazy? Isn't that freaking crazy?
I know. We were just discussing this in our Patreon episode the other day of TMNT, the movie, that it's 30 years old. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what episode of Are You Being Served did we decide on?
It is the second episode of the series. It's the first actually produced episode after the pilot. It is called Dear Sexy Knickers.
All right. So I guess the pilot was originally filmed in black and white, and then it exists in poor quality somewhere. Is that the legend?
No, okay, so the pilot was originally shot for a program called Comedy Playhouse where I guess they would air one-off kind of things or something.
Okay.
And the episode actually got scrapped. It wasn't going to ever air. It was they decided nope, this isn't what we're going to do. And then, unfortunately, during the Summer Olympics of 1972, there was the Munich Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had to kind of, find stuff to air.
Oh, something light?
The Olympics weren't happening.
Something lighthearted, get people's minds off the Munich Massacre?
I mean, let's be honest, this is probably about to hit our TV stations where they just start tossing on stuff they've got backlog. They're okay, here are those 10 episodes of The Millers we never aired back in 2014 or whatever,
Yeah. We're probably not going to get a good fall season next year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So we're just going to get all these I don't know, these things that, they like the CW picked up like a weird Riverdale spinoff, but they never aired it. But here it is. Here's all 6 episodes we filmed.
It's like, here's your random show. Yeah. So they aired this and people liked it, so they actually picked it up as a series. And because in the UK, instead of calling it a season, they call it a series.
Yep.
And it's short. It's only like 6-7 episodes.
Yeah, all their seasons of all their series of episodes are always like very, very brief, like 6 or 7. Sometimes they're off the air for like 4 years and they come back and do more.
Yeah. So like this show officially starts in 72. And then we get our episode in like 73, and then like the show goes on until like 1985.
Yeah, but it's been like off and on for a while, right? Like there's gaps.
Yeah, and it's only like 70 episodes long.
You know what? I kind of dig their model because they get like right to the point with a lot of their stuff. You don't get these like meandering episodes of a lot of shows,
Yeah. It's just like really sad when you realize you finished watching Coupling in only like a day.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But it's like at the same time though. There are a few American series that kind of follow this model, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David will do a season, and then he's like, I'm done, and then it's like 5 years later and he's bored, and he's like, I'm just gonna do another season, why not? And he gets everyone on board, and I don't know, it's great.
I mean, isn't that basically what the Sex and the City movies are now? Oh hey, let's do another movie, which is really just basically a season of Sex and the City at once.
Yeah, except we're probably not gonna get one with Samantha anymore. R.I.P. Samantha.
Yeah.
Dead to us or dead to them. Well, they could do it without her anyway. I feel like they could do it. What do you think?
I feel like there's enough CGI technology today that it could happen. We've all seen that weird scene on The Good Wife in the finale between Julianne Margulies and that other actress whose name I can't remember, but they didn't like each other.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, super awkward because you're it's even more awkward than Mariah Carey in A Christmas Melody.
Will and Grace, it's Deborah Messing and Megan Mullally, whatever her name is. They famously don't get along either, but,
Mm-hmm.
we can, Megan can come in, film her scenes. Deborah can come in a day later, film her scenes, and they just kind of cut and splice them all together, and it looks like they're in the same room. They did that on the Netflix Arrested Development season 2, because the only way that we would have ever gotten Arrested Development on Netflix in 2015 or whatever year, 2013, whatever year it came out, on time, was if they all just filmed their scenes separately.
Portia de Rossi, she just showed up one day, did her shit, and left.
She crawled out of Ellen's bed. It was I gotta work. Fuck. Fine. She threw on her leopard print jacket, hopped in her fucking roadster, her Porsche roadster, and just drove through fucking Hollywood. Showed up at whatever studio, whenever they filmed the villas, whenever they filmed the Bluth family villas. Mm-hmm. That they live in, and she did her 8 scenes, because I think she's barely in it, right? She's not in it that much.
Yeah, she's barely in the first Arrested Development Netflix season, and then she's I can't even remember if she's even in the second one they did. I'm
gonna throw this out there. I watched the first 3 episodes of the second Netflix season, and I'm you know what? I'm out. I'm checked out. I'm done.
Oh, I've watched it all, and it's just kind of I started this, I have to see where this insanity goes. And then I sit there watching it going, what the fuck is this? This is so stupid.
Is there a payoff? Do we at least get to the end and there's a payoff and it's all worth it at the end? Or is it just you've forgotten what happened?
I kind of forgot what happened.
It's kind of seasons 2 and on of Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
You had this golden first season, and then it just kind of fell apart at the seams.
The second season's so bad, and then the third season's better, but then it's just this rambling mess.
By the time the third season rolled around, I was just kind of discouraged from the second season, and then at that point, I was just I was over Kimmy Schmidt, and I just kind of wanted the Jane Krakowski spinoff. I don't know. I just want a Jane Krakowski's character, Jenna Maroney from 30 Rock, and her character from Kimmy Schmidt. She plays both of them in the same show. I want that world. Just make it happen. Tina Fey. I know you're not doing anything right now, right? Didn't your other series get canceled?
Isn't she just doing progressive car insurance commercials? It's not progressive, it's the Mayhem guy.
You're bored right now, you're just sitting at home, you're in quarantine. I don't know, in your Snuggie, eating your night cheese. Can you just put like a Jane Krakowski universe together for us, please? I know you got time.
I don't know. They're not important.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. Are you being served?
Yes.
Yeah, are you being served? What's the basic premise of this show, Cat Halsey, the author and student? Now at film school student.
This series takes place in a London department store on the floor where they have the ladies' intimates and the men's department.
Yeah, they're like combined together for the first time ever, right? Like they used to be on separate floors, but now they're...
In the pilot, the ladies' intimates department comes down and takes over part of the floor. So you get this, like, battle between the two sides. The guys are like, especially old Mr. Granger is like, oh, hell no. These damn women are not supposed to be on my floor. He's like, I don't understand why this is happening. So you get that tension throughout.
I mean, you know what?
And then you have, like, there's...
Go on.
What?
Go on. No, go on. You go on first.
No, I want to hear what you were going to say.
Well, I was going to say, you know what?
Because I actually forgot what I was going to say.
You go to a department store, you go to Macy's, you go to Belk, or any, like, JCPenney's, like anything. You really gotta have, like, a fine line between the men's and women's department. Like, there needs to be, like, a common ground in the middle, like, housewares or maybe, like, shoes or something, just to kind of, like, separate the line. Just so, like, you know, you're not, like, looking at, like, dress shirts. All of a sudden, you, like, take a accidental left and you're in, like, ladies' intimates. So, I don't know, I feel like you need some kind of, like, gray area where there's just, oh, okay, all right. This makes sense now. You know, now I'm venturing into, like, ladies' underwear. Like, because you're going to get that guy that's just not really realizing that he's in probably ladies' intimates, and he's just starts looking at, like, a little fancy, like, brief bottom, and just like, oh, that feels soft. I could definitely wear that. And then he gets home, and he, like, puts it on, and there's no, like, nut room.
Yeah.
There's no pouch.
Well, on this show, they do have the floor walker, Captain Peacock.
Yeah.
Who his whole freaking job is to, like, tell people which department to go to and be like, Mr. Granger, are you free? Sorry, Captain Peacock, I'm not. Mr. Humphreys, are you free? Why, yes, Mr. Granger, I'm free.
In all the years I've watched the show, I've never quite figured out his role. So I guess you get off the elevator, he's there, right? Like, he's right in front of you. He's kind of like the concierge, I guess.
Yeah. There's the floor between the two departments. And sometimes, like, there's a display in the center. And Captain Peacock's whole job is to just, like, walk around in a circle or whatever and, like, direct people to a sales associate.
Okay, all right, I get it. Yeah, so he kind of just, like, leading people to sales, I guess. I always kind of, like, growing up,
yeah,
I always kind of thought he was, like, the boss, but it's really that, like, really weird-looking guy that's up in the, like, the top floor.
Okay, so, like, he's in charge of the floor staff.
Okay, just that floor, though?
Yeah.
There's, like, an area sales manager?
Let me try and break this down. For the ladies department, you have Miss Brahms, who's like your junior sales associate, and then you have Mrs. Slocum, who is your lead sales associate. It's like she's in charge of the floor and like in charge of the department and like whatever other ladies work in it that you see in the background, but we don't know.
These other non-important characters.
On the men's side, you have Mr. Granger. He's in charge of the department. Beneath him is Mr. Humphreys. And then you have Mr. Lucas under him.
And Mr. Humphreys is the most likely gay salesman, right?
He's the flamboyant one.
Sometimes I mix these characters up just because they don't like have like first names. I'm just confused sometimes.
Yeah, okay, so then Captain Peacock is in charge of all of them.
So he's like the floor guy.
Yeah, he watches when they clock in, which is by like signing into a book and stuff.
Oh yeah, they have sales books. It's great. I love it. I love this like old timey like pre-cash register stuff.
I mean, we've both worked retail, and the way they run things is so weird to me. But then above Captain Peacock is Mr. Rumbold.
He's like the general manager of like the whole store, right?
Yeah.
He's in charge of everything, as far as we know.
As far as we can tell. And then above Rumbold would be the Grace brothers themselves, young and old Mr. Grace.
Oh, yeah. So Grace Brothers is the name of the department store.
Yeah, the Grace Brothers department store. All our action takes place on the sales floor for the most part.
So what I picture in my mind, because it's multi-leveled, as we know in the theme song, it's like, haberdashery, toys and games. And there's this like fun little theme song. It's like the elevator. I was going to say bellhop. What's the word of like the valet? I don't know. What's the word of someone? Elevator attendant.
Oh my god, I can't.
I'm just trying to think of like in Mad Men when they have that guy that just like sits in the elevator and just like hits the buttons for you. What a wild time to be alive. You have somebody in the elevator that hits buttons for you.
That is
Like,
wild.
Like, what year did they realize that's like an unimportant job and they could save money by just like getting rid of that role?
Oh, I don't even know. Like,
It's kind of like the sticker guy at Walmart. The guy that gives you stickers at Walmart that like, who doesn't exist anymore.
here's the sticker for your toilet paper that says you paid.
Well, they used to, like when you were going back into the store, they give you the smiley face sticker so they knew you were returning something.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those days? Like 2002, like the Wild Wild West.
I do. But yeah, like you'd also get like the paid sticker though for like things that didn't go in a bag. Like if you had like a big giant ass thing of dog food, they'd put like a paid sticker on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do the Walmart grocery pickup now, so like actually half my stuff has a sticker on it with like my name on it.
I have a retail question.
Okay.
I wonder if our gal pal Heather, friend of the show, fellow patron, shout out to Heather. I wonder if she can answer this question for us. So, because she works at a grocery store.
Yeah.
I don't really experience this at grocery stores, but I guess it's possible. Depends on like if they sell other stuff, like other items, like some do. But like you go to Walmart. Okay, so I go to Walmart. My Walmart has like sells groceries, and I can buy like all my food for the week, and then I can buy like a laser printer at the same time, which is great. I love it. And the laser printer is big. It's like a Canon laser printer. It's not going to fit in a bag. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to like throw it in the shopping cart. And then I'm going to like walk out with this like long ass receipt. It's going to have like all my stuff on there. It's going to have like my mozzarella sticks, my Doritos, my Fresca, my Coors Lights.
I love Patrick's shopping list.
So I'll go to like the exit, and they'll just have like this one lady just there. She's like, I don't know, usually like in her 50s, 60s. Like this is just kind of like her like get out of the house job. She's just like chilling, and she'll like see me coming out, and she'll like ask me for like my receipt. She'll look at it for like a second, and then she'll hand it back to me. Like, does she know exactly where? Like, is there like a special place like on the receipt, like where they're gonna put like the Canon laser printer? Like, I don't know. I always just like wonder. I don't buy like enough big items to like really like study the receipts, but I always just wonder this stuff.
I don't know. I think like there's certain things they're looking for, like
High priced items.
I just know like I actually have gone to a Walmart. If it's a certain time of day, the security guard, like definitely, there's like a legit security guard who stops you to like look at your stuff. But I do the grocery pickup now, so I don't deal with the actual receipt anymore. I get like an email that says this is what you bought.
Oh yeah.
And how much it cost. And this is what we like gave you instead of what you ordered.
So I was like recently at a grocery store, and I had to like go into like deep into the cart hallway where they have all like the lockers where they put all the food, and it's like freezer. They're just like it's refrigerated. It's like wild. And I was like, ooh, like wow, this is like legit. This is a legit service. Like I might actually start doing it because I just kind of like end up buying stuff I don't need. So, and I'd rather just go online and just like cherry pick things. Can you get wine and stuff through there?
I mean, you could get alcohol. Our grocery stores don't sell wine.
Oh, like mine does, so.
Besides, I also have, like, all my wine from nakedwines.com.
Yeah, friend of the show, nakedwines.com. Go there. Mention us. You'll get no discounts. But try and see what happens.
No discounts. So.
Maybe one day. Maybe like 5 years from now, someone will be listening back to this and they're going to try it and it's going to work.
But yeah, like, I can go and, generally, when things are not insane, I can order, like, anything I need, and it's gonna be there. Today, I actually had to add, like, 2 items into my cart before, like, I pick up tomorrow. I was like, oh, I forgot this, so I can go and add it, and I don't have to, like, start a new situation. So, like, today I had to add pickled okra and Tylenol PM.
Ooh, yeah. So normally I hate going to the grocery store, but like right now it's like my cheers.
I know, right? It's like, oh, let me get out of the house.
It's an adventure. I'm like, oh yeah, like, ooh, yeah, it's like the only thing that's open. Like that, like Dunkin' Donuts and like the random like restaurants that now do like curbside pickup. Do you have curbside pickup in Colorado?
Yeah, we've got the curbside. We got, because all our restaurants are closed to seating, so it's either pick up at the curbside or drive through. Or you can have it delivered via, like, an app.
Like Grubhub or something.
I spend a lot of time on, like, Grubhub, like, looking at food and then not ordering food.
I don't know, but, like, it's still exciting. Like, I'm just like, oh, like, I'm going to go to the Grumpy Monk and get some sushi. And I'm excited. I'm like, I wonder who's working today. Like, and then I'm like, oh, hey, it's my gal pal. I'm like, Hey, long time no see. Sorry we can't chat. Sorry we can't chat. I gotta go. You gotta stay away 6 feet. Sorry. Just throw your food in my window.
Like, I could totally order some Applebee's right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like a lot of places have like hot discounts too because they want to get business. So it's great. What a wild time. Like the first thing I do, like I go online and I just like there's like the local news website has like all like the hot links for like all like the restaurants with all like the hot deals, and I just check that every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what Pizza Hut's offering today. All right.
Okay.
Enough said. We kind of teased you on the idea of what Are You Being Served is. You ready to get into this hot episode?
Yes, let's get into this hot episode.
Not dead. Dear sexy Knickers.
Yes, dear sexy Knickers. Okay, so, it's not long after the women's department has come up to the men's department, and there's still tension. But we have Mr. Lucas, who is ridiculously horny.
Yeah, and he's like young. Like all the other guys in the men's department are kind of like they're older.
Yeah.
They're maybe in their 40s. Mr. Lucas is like maybe like early 20s, I would guess. He's got that like young John Ritterish look to him.
He's got a thing for Miss Brahms in the ladies department.
Gal pal.
100% gal pal. And he...
And Mrs. Slocum.
Oh, I fucking love Mrs. Slocum. Mrs. Slocum, oh my god.
Hold on. You ready? We haven't done a good son scenario in a while.
Oh no.
In case you don't know the good son scenario, it's based on the Macaulay Culkin Elijah Wood classic from 1993ish. All right. So the mom has to like she's dangling the kids over the cliff, and she has to save one. Macaulay Culkin or Elijah Wood, and she saves Elijah Wood. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I ruined it before I said spoiler alert. Anyway, cut house to the student. She's chilling on a cliff, like a cliffside, with her laptop, working on her like script writing class, writing a script, and working on her discussions. And she sees Mrs. Slocum and Miss Brahms. I don't know, maybe they're like chasing a piece of women's intimates like that flew out of the Grace Brothers, and they're trying to save it because it was like a $90 undergarment that they really needed, because they didn't want to get it taken out of their sales quota because they'd come out of their paycheck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they're near the edge of the cliff. They fall over. You just grab them both. You're holding Mrs. Slocum and Miss Brahms. Who would you save?
Mrs. Slocum.
Me too. 100%. Sorry, Miss Brahms. We can do without you. We could always hire a hot new bimbo, but we can't hire another Mrs. Slocum whose like hair color changes every episode.
Yes. Like, I think... Okay, so like growing up, we got to see Mrs. Slocum with all her wild hair colors, right? Then it like fucking came into style to actually do that in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is why I have dyed my hair every color under the rainbow as Mrs. Slocum.
Yeah, and it's wild too because she's not a young whippersnapper. She's like an older lady. She's like, I would say like late 50s maybe.
And I'd say like late 40s. Early 50s.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Well,
yeah.
Well, I aged that bitch, huh?
To be fair, people looked older back then, though. We go over this all the time.
We do. And it was the 70s. People smoked a lot. People smoked cigs a lot. There's a lot of smoking in this show, too. Like, everyone smokes, like, in the store. It's great. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
They pull out, like, they don't even have, like, it's not like they have, like, a pack of Marbs. It's, like, that fancy, like, metal cigarette case, which I love. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm going to ever smoke, I'm going to have a fancy metal cigarette case. I don't know. I feel like that's, like, the Don Draper thing to do. Or the Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, so...
I love it. I stan.
It's just like a normal day in the store. Mr. Lucas is trying to sell a suit to this guy, and the guy is like, oh, it's a little tight in the shoulders, I don't know. And he's doing like this weird... those weird movements you do when you're trying on clothes? Like, weird movements you never actually do in your everyday life.
Yeah, he was like doing squats, and then he was like holding his arms out in like a zombie pose.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it hurts when I do this. Like, it's really tight.
You're not gonna walk or like, how does it feel like when you're actually like in your actual stance? The guy complained, and Mr. Lucas is like, I'll go see if I have a bigger size. And he knows he doesn't. And Mr. Humphrey's like, oh, I'm going to show you a little trick.
I love this.
So they go towards the back so Mr. Granger doesn't see, because Mr. Granger would totally not approve. And Mr. Humphrey knees the jacket. So he puts the armhole on his knee and pulls a little bit to pop some of the stitching to loosen it up.
Yes. I love it.
The guy thinks it's perfect after that.
Oh, but hold on. Like, he tries it on. He's like, this is perfect. But he's like, I kind of want to try the other one on, though, just to double check. And he's like, Mr. Granger? Mr. Granger's like, oh, too bad I just sold it. I just sold it.
Oh, no, he asked Mr. Humphreys. Mr. Granger doesn't know what's going on. Mr. Granger's just wandering around, smacking his lips.
And I have a question for you. You've worked in retail. I've worked in retail. Have you ever done, like, any little, like, salty little moves to customers to, like, just get that fucking sale?
I've, like, okay, when it comes, like, there's a certain point where a kid's, like, shirt, or, like, a youth extra large is really, like, an adult small or something. I'll be like, let's just go with this one. Or swap them out. Like, if they're, like, really because, like, when I worked at the t-shirt shop, if I didn't have a shirt in a specific color that they wanted, but I had it in, like, that equal thing, I would use that one. But nothing like making stitches pop or...
One of the greatest things I've ever done. Worked at, like, a Macy's, like, store. Like, the housewares department. So it's, like, all kitchen shit, you know? It's all, like, little, like, kitchen stuff. And someone, like, really wanted, like, the floor sample of something, like... I guess it was like a KitchenAid mixer or something, and they came out with like a pink one year, like a hot pink. It was like the breast, like this, what was it, like Susan Corman, like pink, breast cancer. All proceeds go to Susan Corman, which I highly doubt. I don't know. That bitch is just like, who knows what she's up to. Anyway, they like really wanted the floor model, and well, like they really wanted that color. We didn't have it, and I'm just like, they wanted the floor model. And it was, like, missing parts. I was just like, eh. And I just fucking opened up another box, just, like, grabbed some bunch of shit out, just, like, threw it in. Like, switched it out, swapped it out, like, put it all together. I was like, here you go. I'm like, no one will ever know. And it was, like an hour or two later, like, the manager's like, where's the pink mixer? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, Visual must have came by and grabbed it. And, I don't know, maybe they, like, did something with it. I'm like, I don't know where it went. I mean, I guess it wasn't like screwing the customer. I guess it was the company. I guess I don't know.
Wait,
I'm pro customer. I'm like not gonna like screw the customer. I'll screw the company if anything.
Oh, yeah. So they're trying to make the sale, and this like customer is just like picky, and he comes out and he's just like got his shirt on and like his briefs.
Yeah, he's Donald Ducking it.
Like he doesn't have his pants on. He comes out looking for Mr. Lucas. Mr. Lucas is like, dude, no. You got to go back in there. We share this department with the ladies. And Mrs. Slocum sees it, and she makes a complaint to Captain Peacock. And it's like, dude, Mr. Lucas did what he could do.
I was thinking about that.
You know?
I guess you're supposed to, like, stay near the dressing room door and just, I don't know, like, they say they need something, you give it to them. I don't know, but I've totally been in, like, stores, and I've seen, like, people, like, walk out, like, from, like, a dressing room, like, in underwear and stuff, so it happens. It fucking happens. Yeah, people have zero shame. LBR, let's be real.
I'm like, I hate when I have to go to the dressing room, because I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you know, you go in, you try your stuff on, you look in the mirror, and you're like, yeah, this is awful. No. I'm like, ugh, I'm sick of having to buy black dress pants. Ugh.
Well, like, it's like, you know what, you meant to, like, you should have grabbed 3, but you didn't. Like, you're like, you know what, I should have grabbed, like, 3 different sizes, but I didn't. And then you're like, I gotta leave and come back, and then, like, go to the lady again and, like, hand her all my stuff, and it's annoying. I feel like I'm bothering her. That's, like, what I just, like, always feel like I'm doing whenever I'm at a store.
Or, like, it has that, like, door alarm beep thing, you know?
Yeah, like, some places have, like, you gotta, like, tell them, they give you, like, they have, like, a key, and they gotta unlock it, and I'm just like, ugh. And they walk away, they go back to whatever fucking mind-numbing task they were doing. They were, like, folding clothes or something, or, like, tagging items.
Yeah, like, refolding all the stuff nobody wanted.
Yeah, but they're on, like, the other side of the store. You're like, I'm sorry, I gotta do this again. Like, I know it's, like, me as someone who's, like, been in that position. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you couldn't just grab all this shit, like, at the same time. Like, fucking asshole. I'm like,
yeah.
Then, like, now you feel, like, obligated to buy something. Like, you really don't want to buy it, but you're like, I feel like a jerk.
Yeah.
Or, if, like, I'm not gonna buy it, I just run the fuck out of there. I'm like, bye. Make no eye contact with anybody.
I'm like, oh no, that just was not the right color for me. Bye.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back over here to this section of jeans and I'll be okay.
I was, like, recently at, like, the Calvin Klein outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, like, hot sales, and I actually found, like, stuff that, like, fit really good. And I was, like, ready to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And the manager accidentally got, like, locked out of the, like, she entered her password wrong, like, on the computer. And she was, like, the only one working that day. And she's like, well, I don't feel, she's like, they're having problems with, like, the company they go to, like, unlock the password. So she's like, it'll, like, unlock me in 30 minutes if, like, you don't mind, like, hanging around. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't mind. But, like, I really was like, no, I don't want to hang around.
Like,
So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the store next door and I'll come back. And I was like, that was the only place I was going to. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm like, forget it. And I keep thinking about those pants that fit really good.
I go to the Old Navy, I get me my pants, and I'm good. Because I know what size I am in Old Navy, and I know what cut looks good on me, and I'm in and out.
I got it down to a science. Like, I know my size and like the cuts at Old Navy, and I go in. I check to see if they have my size. 90% of the time they don't, because I have like a weird odd number size. I'm like 31, 32, which is like the unicorn of like pant sizes for men.
Yeah.
The only two places that ever have them is Old Navy and JCPenney. And like JCPenney is like dead. They're like going out of business or something.
JCPenney's is always just so expensive too.
No, I guess
like even when they have like their sales stuff, like every time I try to buy like dress pants from JCPenney's for work, it's like there'll be like this, here's this sale, and then you go to the cash register and it's like, oh no, sorry, those signs were supposed to come down yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Like every time. And I'm like, what the hell? They're like, do you still want these? I'm like, no. I wanted them when they were like 70% off, not now when they're full price.
When I used to work at Macy's, they would always tell me like take the at like 9 p.m. like this sale would end for like the next day, so I take the signs down. I fucking never took the signs down. I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't get paid enough to take down the fucking signs. I'm like, take down your own fucking signs. Management, MGMT. Fuck you guys. I was like anti them. I was like, you know what? I want to be that person the next morning that's like, you know what? This was $20 yesterday, but it's $30 today. Like who cares? Just make it the same price forever. That's my motto.
Yeah.
All right. Already being served. We're bouncing around. As always. Who cares? You still love us, right?
Mr. Lucas is desperate to make the sale because as the lowest level salesperson in his department, he gets the fewest customers. Because the way it works is Captain Peacock goes to Mr. Granger first. If Mr. Granger isn't with a customer, he gets the customer. If Mr. Granger has a customer, then he goes to Mr. Humphreys. And then if Mr. Humphreys is busy, he goes to Mr. Lucas. So, like, they're always, like, shitting on Mr. Lucas about not having the best sales. And it's like, you never give him anybody.
Oh, yeah. What a time to be
like, how is he supposed to get a sale?
He's strictly, like, commission, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, I think they get a pay, but it's, like, not a lot at all. It's, like, really low. And then they get the commission. So, you know, they want the sales. Like, at least in the ladies' department, it goes Mrs. Slocum and Miss Brahms, Miss Slocum, Miss Brahms. So it's, like, a little more even, at least from what we see. But for the men's departments, like, whoever is the lowest associate gets the lowest sales.
Yeah, it's like a hot rotate. Little hot rotation of the ladies.
Yeah.
What a wild time. What a wild system. What a wildly outdated system. I just want to go to a store and not be bothered by people that work there.
Yeah.
I'm like totally like the self-checkout guy.
Can you imagine, okay, this is going to be hard for you to imagine, but like going into the store and being like, I need a new bra. You know exactly like what your cup size is. And you can't just like go get it from like the display. You have to, like, talk to somebody about, like, what size you need, and they're going to try and upsell you, and oh my god.
Like,
it's awful.
You want I think you look good in the sexy lace. You're like, no.
Like, you should try this, but, like, no, I just want a fucking white bra. Like, I just want a basic bra. Nobody's seeing it except for me and my boyfriend, and...
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to take it off at some point. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. I'm not doing, like, boudoir pictures.
And it's like, oh my god, like, that's kind of why I like shopping at, like, Walmart or Ross or whatever, because I can find what I want, and nobody's, like, bugging me.
Like when you go to Vicky's. Shout out to Vicky's.
I haven't shopped at Victoria's Secret in so long.
They have good mints at the counter.
Well, you know what? Like, the last time I did, they didn't have my size.
Oh, what?
They told me my breasts were too big.
They don't have, like, a...
Because, like, the last time I, like, went in for, like, a 40D or something like that. It was a while ago. My breasts have gotten smaller because I lost weight. But they're like, oh, yeah, we don't sell that big.
They don't have, like, you have to go to the special catalog or something. You have to do a special order. You have to go over, like, the computer in the back. Dusty old computer in the back.
So, like, instead I went on to, like, Kohl's.com and was able to order a bra in the size they needed. For, like, a third of the price.
Were you that person that goes, can you call another store? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking call another store. How about you drive to the other store?
No, like, the sales associate told me they flat out did not go up that big. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, I find that really hard to believe.
Did you at least buy the mints that they have under the counter? Because I used to love those.
No. Like, I remember when I was younger, though, I had a lot of Victoria's Secret underwear and pajamas and stuff my mom bought me, but not anymore.
They do have cozy pajamas. Not gonna lie, I've tried a pair on.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Threw on some PJ pants. Felt like an angel.
In this episode, Mrs. Slocum's pissed off that she saw a customer Donald ducking it, and, Mr. Granger's like, well, sometimes we see ladies in their changing room come out, and Captain Peacock's like, where can you see this? Because Captain Peacock's also a horny old man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But he's married.
Oh, is he? Okay.
But he's always hitting on the younger women.
Oh, yeah, he has a thing for Miss Brom, right?
Yes, and for Rumbled's secretary.
Yeah, well, sometimes she talks about how she doesn't, wear a bra, and he's like,
yeah.
I didn't notice. And he's like, yeah, I kind of did notice, actually.
He's like, oh, I'm definitely paying attention now. Yeah. Mr. Lucas gets in trouble for the customer, and then the customer wants these pants, and Mr. Lucas thinks he can knee the pants to just loosen the crotch area just a little bit. And unfortunately, as he's trying, before Mr. Humphries can stop him,
the guy's like, I need it bigger a little bit.
And Mr. Lucas puts his whole leg through the pants.
Yeah, he tears a hole.
And they get dragged in to the office. And Mr. Rumbold never worked in clothing before, so he totally doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. He thinks that they needed the pants, but not need the pants. There's this whole miscommunication, and they're literally trying to explain to Mr. Rumbold what they did, and he's like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, there's this wild 3-minute scene where they're trying to explain what need the pants mean.
Mm-hmm.
It all started when Mr. Humphries kneed the jacket with a K. And Mr. Rumbold's like, yeah, I know there's a K in jacket. And he's like, no, need. And he's like, oh, knead and dough? And he's like, no, your knee above your leg.
Rumbold just does not get it.
And then Mr. Granger starts to kind of incriminate himself, because now he's explaining it, and he's like, not that I've ever done it, but this is how you do it.
You mean Mr. Humphries?
Yeah, Mr. Humphries, I'm sorry. So they do it to they explain it to Captain Peacock, how they do it on his jacket, and Captain Peacock is like,
mm-hmm.
I didn't hear the threads, the stitches tear, and Mr. Humphries is like, because I sold you that jacket. And it's great.
And obviously, Captain Peacock's probably worn that jacket a while. It's not like they popped every single stitch. They just they just loosened them up a little bit.
Yeah, just give it a little.
Obviously the tension is a little too high on the sewing machine.
Well, there's a funny line.
That produced it, so
There's a funny line earlier when they do it to the customer. And Mr. Humphries is like, now you're just going to make sure that the customer gets out before the sleeves fall off.
Yeah.
He's like, don't go too hard. Just go a little gentle. Just so, the sleeves fall off 4 or 5 days later when he's walking around like a zombie.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot this was in a video podcast. Never mind. Sorry.
All right. So the main, that's one of the struggles in the episode. But the reason why the episode is called Dear Sexy Knickers is because Mr. Lucas has a thing for Miss Brahms, and he really wants to ask her out. They kind of I guess they kind of have a little flirtation here and there. They kind of they're probably in the elevator together, and they I don't know, eyeball each other and all that jazz.
The way I took it is, he's her fifth in line. If she were on Tinder, there's the guy you really want. There's the guy who you're if that one doesn't work out, I want this one. There's a hierarchy, and he's fifth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's yeah, I see that. I can see that. He's all right looking, I guess, but when she goes out to the pub later on, when she's down at that local pub, she'll find some soccer hooligan that she'll, mess around with.
Yeah.
And she'll forget all about Mr. Lucas. But Mr. Lucas, though, I guess his only...
his number one is Miss Brahms.
Yeah, he's just, smitten with that kitten.
And he's gonna send her a note on... He's gonna write her this note to basically hook up.
Yeah.
on a sales slip from the department, because it's the only paper around, and he goes, "Dear sexy Knickers, let's meet outside at 5:30. He doesn't even sign it.
Yeah, so he like crumples it up, folds it up, like one of those like footballs that you fold up in like middle school. Those are like paper footballs, and he like flicks it over. It goes across the department, but it like doesn't get all the way into the ladies' department. It lands in the middle of the hallway.
And Captain Peacock picks it up and hands it to Mrs. Slocum.
Yeah, he finds it and he's like, "Oh, I just found this little piece of paper on the ground. Can you like dispose of it or whatever?" And she like unfolds it. She looks at it and she reads the note, and she thinks that Captain Peacock is sending her the note. She's kind of like, at first, kind of like offended, but then she's like low key kind of into it. She's like, like, you know what? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've last had my feathers ruffled. I could probably deal with it. So she wants to be like discreet.
You know, Mr. Slocum just left and disappeared a while ago, so, you know, might as well get a little something something.
Yeah, so she decides she's going to be discreet. So she doesn't want to just like call to his attention by shouting his name aloud. She's like, you know what, I'm going to just pick up my department phone, call over to the men's department, and just kind of like whisper sweet nothings into his ear. So she picks up the phone.
And oh my god.
Someone else picks up the phone first, and they ask for Captain Peacock. And Captain Peacock picks up the phone, and he's like, "Hello."
And she's like, "This is sexy Knickers," and he's like, wait, hold on, what?
It's who? She's like, "Yeah, I'll meet."
He doesn't know what's up.
Yeah, I'm ready for 5:30, and he gets all flabbergasted, and he like hangs up the phone, all confused, and she's like, "Whoa," like offended by this. She's like, so she tells Miss Brahms. Miss Brahms is like upset. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna call back and just have my way, say my words. So Miss Brahms picks up the phone. She calls over. Mr. Granger gets back on the phone. He suspects that something's going on across the hall, so he's gonna walk over to look.
Well, first, Miss Brahms is like going off on Mr. Granger, like, because they realized that the note wasn't for Mrs. Slocum, it was for Miss Brahms.
Oh yeah.
And she is like, "Oh hell no!" She's like pissed off. She's going off, and poor Mr. Granger is like, doesn't know what is happening. He is so confused. He's just like this little old man who should have retired, but he's not going to retire. And he's just like, oh, so confused. And Captain Peacock picks up the phone and listens, and he's like, what the fuck? And he goes back over, and he realizes Miss Brahms is on the phone, like, and she's like heated. And he's like, what is going on?
Yeah, so he confronts her, and then they find out that it wasn't Captain Peacock who sent the letter. They kind of like put two and two together that it was Mr. Lucas, but they don't think that Mr. Lucas gave the letter to Miss Brahms. They think Mr. Lucas was giving the letter to Mrs. Slocum. So now Mrs. Slocum's like, ooh. So
they get pulled into Rumble's office again.
He kind of like goes over to Mrs. Slocum to like apologize and be like, hey, like, it wasn't Captain Peacock who gave the letter. It was actually like me. And he was like about to say that it was actually intended for Miss Brahms, but she's like, Oh, you mean you were the one who sent the letter? Ooh, and she looks at her little watch on her wrist, and she's like,
yeah.
Well, guess what? It's 5 minutes to 5:30. I'll see you outside. And he just kind of has this like horrid look on his face. He's like, oh God, like what have I gotten myself into? We don't like kind of like see what happens after the fact, but like low key, I 100% think that Mr. Lucas went out there and went forward with this. What do you think?
Oh, totally, because he's totally afraid of Mrs. Slocum. Can we be real? Mrs. Slocum probably gave him the night of his life, but he's never going to admit it.
Oh, for sure.
Mrs. Slocum showed him things that Miss Brahms would never have even heard of at this point. Mrs. Slocum drove that boy wild that night.
Do you think the drapes match the carpet?
Who knows?
They could. Wild times. Mr. Lucas is the only one who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Mrs. Slocum's pussy.
Oh, her pussy.
Referring to her cat. Her pussy cat.
Oh my God.
Which we don't get that innuendo in this episode, though. The innuendo doesn't pop up in this episode.
No, it doesn't. It's still kind of early on before I think it comes up in the next episode, though. Yeah,
it's so like later on the season, I guess she has a cat that she always goes home and strokes, and she always refers it to as her pussy, so she's always talking about going home.
And she's like, I have to go home and tend to my pussy. And it's just hilarious. It's hilarious.
Everyone gets that Jim Carrey rubber face after they hear it. I love it. I love it. You would never see that on, like, American 9 p.m. sitcoms.
Oh my god, I love this show so much.
We hit all the beats, I think. I think we hit all the beats. All the fun beats. So the show, as we said, it aired for like 10 seasons. It got like a sequel series, Are You Being Served Again, in like the later 80s.
Which was also called Grace and Favor.
Oh yeah, in America it's called Are You Being Served Again, right?
Yeah, and then there was also a sequel series in Australia called Are You Being Served?
Oh.
Where Mr. Humphreys moves to Australia and he works at a department store called, I think it's like Bones Brothers or something, because there's an actual Grace Brothers department store in Australia. And he was in charge of the men's department, and he basically runs into the exact same kind of characters as he had in London.
Interesting.
And it got like 2 seasons. You can find some of it on YouTube, and it is just wild to watch. Because it's like, it's Captain Peacock, but it's not Captain Peacock. And it's like a Mrs. Slocum, but it's not a Mrs. Slocum. It's like they fit those spots exactly.
I love it. I stand. And in 1979, our boy toy Gary Marshall, after the success of Happy Days and its many spin-offs, he tried to produce a pilot for an Americanized version of Are You Being Served called Beans of Boston, but
yeah,
it didn't pick up. This was like right when all those like American shows like Three's Company, All in the Family, and Sanford and Son were like based on their British counterparts. So they tried to like do that, but I don't know, it didn't quite work out. I guess didn't pick up, but you know what? I would have loved to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's around.
It's probably deep in his archives, and Penny will never release it, or whoever's in charge of all his stuff.
I feel like that's stuff they didn't like save. Like it's like, yeah, the pilot didn't get picked up. They just like burned it, just like threw it in like a fire pit. It's like, yeah, we'll never look at this stuff. They didn't foresee another Munich massacre incident where they need all these old pilots.
Okay, let's see. Right. Beans of Boston starred John Hillerman, Charlotte Ray, Alan Suze, George O'Hanlon Jr., Larry Bishop, Lorna Patterson, and Tom Poston.
Right, John Hillerman's from Magnum, PI?
Yeah.
And obviously Charlotte Ray is our gal pal, Mrs. Garrett. Mrs. G. Shout out to Mrs. G.
Tom Poston's from Newhart.
Ooh, yeah. I stand.
I'm not recognizing... I don't have pictures of the others, so I can't, like, automatically recognize them. But yeah, like... It would have been a lit cast, though.
Yeah, you know what? I could still see them trying to do it now. Like, maybe get, like, a hot, like, I don't know, modernized version of it. Mm-hmm. Or would that be Superstore? Would that be Superstore with American Ferrera?
I mean, Superstore is basically Walmart, isn't it? So, I guess. I've never actually watched Superstore.
I'm not gonna lie, neither have I. I know it's about it's like people who work at a store that you can kind of put the two and two together. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, I don't know. All
right, we went through the show. We went through Are You Being Served?
I mean, it's not like when you go into a department store today and you have, like, the setup that they had.
I know. I was going to ask you, have you ever had to do measurements? Have you had to take measurements on, like, inseams and stuff?
Only for bras. That's the only thing I've ever had to get measured for is a bra.
They trained me to, like, try to do it, like, in menswear, and I was like, I can't do this. So it's not for me.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm not getting that close to people. Nope.
I mean, my personal bubble. My personal bubble is 6 feet around.
We went over Are You Being Served? I have a hot question for you. One last hot question.
What's the hot question?
On a scale of 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5 intimate apparel pieces. How many intimate apparel pieces would you give this episode of Are You Being Served? All right. On a scale of 1 out of 5 intimate apparel pieces, how many intimate apparel pieces would you rate this episode of Are You Being Served?
4.
Ooh, tough cookie over there. I'm going to give this one a solid 5. This is going to get a P5, category 5. Blowing you away.
I mean, I was laughing like the whole time. I find this show hilarious. It's so funny. Like, my boyfriend was watching with me and he did not find it funny at all.
Really?
I was like, how is this? I was like, this is hilarious. I'm like laughing about to fall off the freaking couch. And he's like, this isn't funny.
It's fun, like, innuendo. Like, I love, like, innuendo in my comedy and misinterpreted circumstances. It's just, like classic sitcom trope, and it's great. Like, I love when, like, sitcoms pull this stuff. This is, like, that whole, like, wild misunderstanding that you see on, like, Three's Company and tons of other shows. It's great. You don't see it that much in comedy these days.
I mean, of course, I sit here and I like die laughing at a rerun of Three's Company, and he's like, I don't know why you're laughing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dead art form. Like we don't really get this like misunderstanding in anything anymore. It's just kind of
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe someday.
I miss it.
Come back to us, R.I.P. Misunderstandings. Ouija board us. Tell us what it's like being a ghost in trope heaven. If it's such a place.
Of sitcom tropes.
Any last minute thoughts on how you being served?
It's hilarious. I loved it as a kid, and I still love it now.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive back into this world. And
Like, I loved it so much. I remember, like, when I was a kid and PBS would do their pledge drives.
oh yeah,
There are only two things I would watch for these pledge drives. I would sit through these damn pledge drives for. The Anne of Green Gables movies, so Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea, and the Are You Being Served movie.
what's the Are You Being Served movie? What's it like? A combination of eps?
It's where it's from like the late 70s where they all are going on like a vacation together.
Out of the office kind of situation. Ooh, I love it. I stand.
Yeah, like I can't remember where. I don't think I ever actually like made it through the whole movie because you know those pledge drives, they like interrupt the movie every like
Oh yeah.
15-20 minutes and then spend another 15-20 minutes begging for donations. They're like, we'll get back to it. And you're like, oh my god. So eventually you just fall asleep listening to the cicadas outside.
Like the facts of life. Go to Australia or something or Paris. It's like one of those things.
Yeah.
I love it. You know what? Fish out of water. Fish out of water. Always a good go-to when you're just like out of ideas. Take the cast, put them on a boat. I don't know, have the boat crash or something, and they're like stuck somewhere for a night.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. You know, maybe put them in a spooky mansion. Maybe send the Harlem Globetrotters to the store.
Exactly.
So many things you can do. Send Batman and Robin over.
Oh my god, yes.
Sandy Duncan, maybe. Maybe Sandy Duncan will show up.
Sandy Duncan just shows up. Hi, everybody.
Tonight's guest star is Sandy Duncan. And Sandy Duncan visits the fucking Grace Bros. Looks for a piece of intimate apparel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love it. I stand. You know what? Let's go back in time. If I have a time machine, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make Sandy Duncan go to Grace Brothers.
Yeah.
Buy a sexy bra. Hold on. Speaking of sexy bras. Next week.
Yes.
Next week. It's Intimate Apparel Month here at the podcast. Because next week, what are we doing, Kat? Also the author.
Yeah, apparently. I thought about that like while we were talking about this, and I was like, oh, this totally leads into next week's episode.
We're doing the hottest episode of television ever involving a bra. I think, right? Would you say?
It is a freaking American classic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I feel like there's some people listening who probably already know exactly what episode of television we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about a tween comedy classic starring the queen of the tweens, the one, the only, Hilary Duff as Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Written by... This episode, the bra episode, written by my favorite Twitter personality, at Slack Mistress.
Oh, really?
Who wrote this episode. Follow her on Twitter. Yeah. I like her tweets all the time. And in her, like, bio, it says, I wrote the bra episode of Lizzie McGuire. Like, it's actually, like, in her her bio.
That is awesome.
It's been on there for, like, 10 years. So join us next week. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk all about Hilary Duff. Maybe the supposed reboot, which may or may not happen now. I don't know. It's, like, all... a scandal now, apparently. Disney Plus started off with good intentions, and now like everything's like maybe canceled or delayed, or there's all kinds of stuff going on with their programs.
This is like, okay, when they announced the Lizzie McGuire like reboot, revisit, whatever you want to call it, like I was so fucking excited. This is my shit. I am down for this, right? I'm super excited about this. Lizzie grown up. We're gonna see like what's going on with her and Gordo. Like, am I still going to be shipping Lizzie and Gordo? I can 100% tell you I will be shipping Lizzie and Gordo.
I have no idea who they are.
Oh my god. And then, apparently, the show was too adult. And it's like, well, what the hell? Come on. Of course it's adult. Lizzie's an adult. She's not still a 13-year-old trying to buy her first bra.
Maybe they should put Baby Yoda in it. Maybe Baby Yoda will, like, euthanize it. Not, like, euthanize, like, kill it, but Y-O-U-T-H.
Maybe. I don't know. I still want my grown-up Lizzie McGuire. I just want grown-up Lizzie.
Maybe they should just put Baby Yoda in all the Disney Plus shows. That'll get the ratings.
Baby Yoda is a mighty duck.
Yeah, Baby Yoda is on like WandaVision and Loki. I I love it. I stand. But you know what? Fuck it. Have Baby Yoda go over to Netflix. Put him on Fuller House. Have him like knock on the door. You know what? Baby Yoda as Michelle. How about that?
I mean...
Put a wig on him.
Okay.
You know what? New Twitter poll.
Alrighty. So next week we're doing Lizzie McGuire.
Real quick, new Twitter poll. What show should we put Baby Yoda in next? Should he take over for Kevin Spacey on House of Cards? Have him be the President Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda as Samantha in the new Sex and the City movie. How about that?
Oh my god, you're gonna have to be the one to do this. I can't do it.
I got a bunch of new gifts coming.
Oh my god. Okay.
Hot new gifts. All right.
Okay, so
before we go,
you can follow us.
Go on. That's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. Go on. Where can you follow our adventures, Cat? Also the author. Where can you follow us?
Well, you could support us on Patreon at Very Special Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Obviously, you found us somehow, so subscribe. Keep following our wacky adventures. And as always, bye!
Watch the skies for, I don't know, the top tower where Mr. Rumbolt is just cluelessly running his company into the ground.